Okay, here we got a Thunderwing in his alt mode here. Before we move on looking at the alt mode, let's talk a little bit about the little character bio and package here. So there's the back of the package there. You see he's got him in there in his alt mode, stat readout. There he is in his robot mode. And quickly, let's just go through his little bio here. It says, Thunderwing is so single-minded and powerful that even Megatron hesitates to get in his way. He is loyal to the Decepticon commander, but once he is given an order, nothing stops him until the mission is complete. All too often, that mission is the annihilation of a world that has defied the will of Megatron, a task at which Thunderwing excels. So yeah, that's just his little character bio there. And let's move on looking at the actual toy now. And again, here he is here in his alt mode, which is that of a, looks like some kind of a jet or a space jet fighter of some kind. I think this is kind of supposed to be like a stealth jet fighter. The reason being is if you look here closely, it's got a lot of this kind of like little triangular etching or notching on there. And if you're familiar at all with stealth aircraft or like the F-117, you'll find that similar kind of etching or whatever it is on the aircraft or stealth fighter, or a modern day stealth fighter, I should say. But there he is there. Let's kind of just pan in here real quickly and look at him up close. There again, there's some of that little etching. I like the little canopy here, I like the little clear orange plastic. Just kind of move it through here. There's the wings. I like the rear end here. It's got the little thrusters in the back. Let's kind of go out just a little bit. You can see there he's got the two large laser cannons or missile launchers there, similar to his G1 version. Nice big purple guns. And let's just kind of turn him around here on the underside. And now this is where it gets similar to the G1 version in that it's clearly sort of a robot here on the bottom. You can see the arms here. You know, it's not really fooling anyone in that sense. But I think they did a pretty good job with it here in the alt mode. It's less of a big brick like the G1 version was. It does have some landing gear here, which they just fold up like that. And like I was saying, these large cannons here are detachable. So these are basically his accessories here, or part of his accessories. And let's just get those off and look at these up close. So that's his little laser cannons or missile launchers, if you were. And they also have some little etching on there. And it looks like they have some smaller missiles molded on here. They're not removable though. But these do shoot, and you just kind of do like that. They'll shoot out. They shoot out pretty well too. I like that these have these little like fins molded on here to the plastic there. I think that's a nice little touch. So yeah, he's got two of these and they both shoot. Now his other accessory that he has is this front part here, like it said on the package, was the detachable stealth drone. And to detach that, what you want to do is just kind of flip the landing gear down here and just kind of loosen it up and pull it down like that. And there it goes. So that's the little stealth drone, which is kind of a cool little touch, I think. It's a callback to the original G1 toy where the actual robot, Thunderwing robot, would clip in on the underside of the nose, which we'll look at here in a second. But I think these pegs are a little maybe flimsy and they could break on you. And the bad thing about that is if they do break, you can't attach this. And if you lose this, the front end clearly is missing, you know, what really should be there. And when you fold this landing gear up, it just doesn't look right. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of a good idea, but in a way it's kind of bad too, because if you do break it or lose it, it's just not going to complete the front end of this jet here. But quickly, let's just kind of bring in the original G1 Thunderwing here, and we'll just kind of talk about him real quickly. And there he goes there. So just kind of a little size comparison, or just comparison in general, so you can kind of see, not too similar in alt mode. I think this is different from this one in the sense that the color scheme is more of a darker blue, obviously, and just, you know, a different looking jet. I think this is more of a just a big brick, really, but it tried to look more like a space jet, whereas this looks more like something you'd see flying around and on Earth. It's not really a space jet, at least it's not apparent to me that it is. So that's him there with G1 Thunderwing, and just another little sort of a size comparison. I got Classics / Generations or whatever Starscream there. You know, this is a modern day deluxe class figure, so that's just kind of a little size comparison. They're roughly the same size, so yeah, it's, you know, obviously it's a deluxe class figure. Would have been nice though if this guy was a Voyager class. But anyways, that's a look there at his alt mode, and I think we'll move on to the next part. Okay, here we go with the transformation on this guy. As I go through this, you'll probably kind of notice it's sort of similar to the G1 figure in that it's a very basic sort of transformation, at least basic as far as a sort of modern Generations figure or modern Transformer figure goes. But anyways, basically what you want to do to get started with this guy is basically do his legs first. And what you do with those is you want to take, kind of just move his arms here out of the way a little bit. At least I find that kind of helps a bit. One thing real quickly, when you get this guy in the package, this part here will actually be folded down like this, which shows his head clearly visible. So yeah, the correct way to have this guy in his alt mode is with this part up and concealing his head. Anyways, what you want to do is take this whole chest area and just kind of rotate it forward. And you got to kind of get it past these little knees here. And also his legs are kind of pegged in here a little bit to the back side of these wings. So just kind of unloosen those or unhook those or whatever. And you got to kind of rotate this up past his little knees there. And that should all swing forward like that, kind of revealing his legs. And basically his legs are on this little arm here that swings down, and it's just going to kind of like, you know, extend his legs down or elongate them a bit. So just kind of grab that and rotate it down like that. And there you can see that little arm there. And just rotate until it kind of rests against the back side there. And then you can just swing this whole part back down into position like that. And then you can just take this part here and just rotate it down or fold it down so that it fills out his chest, and it's going to reveal his head there. And then the next part would be to do his wings here. And what you want to do is just fold these down so that they're flat like that. And then you just separate these parts here and here, and you can go ahead and tuck his arms back in. And then all you're going to do is just fold this rear portion up so where that it lays flat against this back part here. But before you do that, you want to loosen up this whole nose cone assembly here, or cockpit, and just kind of loosen that up, bend it forward, and then you're just going to bend this all the way up like that so that it lays flush against his back, and then just rotate that down and kind of fold it in on itself so that it lays back like that. And let's kind of straighten out his legs here. And that's pretty much it for him. Then the only thing that's left to do is just to unfold his feet here like that. And there you go. Now you got him in his robot mode. And let's just kind of adjust him here and get him all standing up. Now then, let's go ahead and zoom in on this guy and look at the detail on him. And there you go. Let's get a little tighter there. And there's his face. I think they did a pretty good job with the head. It looks very similar to the original one. Not quite as monstrous looking. I think it looks a little more robotic looking actually, compared to his Pretender version. But definitely the robot mode in this guy looks more like the G1 version compared to his alt mode. It's got the green sort of like piping in here, or nozzles or whatever it was, or tubes, and it's kind of got the little gold accent around the waist. It's got the little shoulder cannons there. Oh, about these shoulder cannons, they're kind of like a soft little rubbery plastic, so they're kind of flexible. They kind of bend a little bit, so you don't have to worry about breaking those off. He's got the green arms, which I'm not sure if the original one had green arms. We'll bring the original one back in here and kind of look at them. There you go. There's his hands. You can see here his thumbs are actually separated from his fists. So I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I think it looks better, but for pegging in his weapon, these thumbs might, you know, want to get worn out or break on you eventually. I don't know. Let's just kind of go on down here. Again, I think it's very reminiscent of the G1 version. At least his robot mode here. There's his feet. And let's kind of pan back up here and just kind of talk a little bit about his wings. His wings here are obviously different than the way he was done on the G1 version. And you got a couple different ways you can do this. You can have them kind of extended out here so it kind of looks sort of like bat-like or kind of like a cape. Or you can go ahead and just tuck them back in like this if you don't like them sticking out. I actually like them sticking out. I think it looks a little bit better. Kind of fills them out a little bit more. And quickly, let's just kind of rotate him around. He does have some light piping in here. You kind of see it on the back of his head there. It's got that kind of orangish clear plastic. And there he is in the rear. So yeah, it's just clearly he's got a big jet, part hanging off the back there. So yeah, a minor little complaint. But overall, I think it's a pretty good figure. And again, he does have the two big purple cannons, so you can just pop one of these in his hands or put both in his hands if you want. And let's just do that real quickly. These are a little stiff. I just got this guy, so again, like I was saying, I don't know, putting these in, you may end up breaking off these thumbs on this guy if you're not careful, but I think they might hold up. And if you want to, you could store one of these or both of these on his wings. They just peg in back here, like that. So let's kind of pan out here so you can see that. Oops, I want to go the other way. But yeah, so you can, you could put both of these back here kind of just sticking up like that, or maybe rotating around so they're sticking down. It's really up to you, or just have them hold them like that. But let's go ahead and get these out of the way. I think they kind of get in the way. I don't really like them hanging off the wings there like that. And let's just kind of compare this guy briefly to his G1 version. And let's bring him back in. So there you go. You can kind of see the similarities between the guy. So again, they kind of captured a lot of those same characteristics from the G1 version. I think they did a really good job with this guy. And another quick comparison would just be with Starscream here again. And let's just kind of bring him in like that. So that's just another modern, modern day deluxe class figure. So you can see he's about the same size as, Starscream here. He's a little on the small size. I would have liked maybe if they could have done him in a Voyager class. I think it would have been a lot better. But this isn't a bad figure at all, especially for the price. Articulation on this guy, it's pretty decent, given the way he transforms and everything. Basically, you can rotate him here at the shoulders. You don't really get a full 360 because of these and the way the wings sit here, but he has shoulder rotation. You can bend it up and down, rotate here at the upper shoulder. You can bend at the elbow, and I believe the wrists here also rotate. Yeah, the little hands here rotate. The head doesn't really go up and down, but it does rotate left and right. It's not on a real ball joint, which is kind of a shame. No waist movement, but you can rotate them at the hips here. They're like ball jointed. And bend at the knees. And the feet really don't move other than what you can fold up because of the way it transforms. So it's a little lacking in the articulation or posability department, but I think it still is a pretty good looking figure overall. As far as my final thoughts go on this guy, as far as recommending him, I would say, yeah, go out and pick him up. I think he's a lot better in person. He's not just, a jet with a robot hanging off the underside as how he kind of looked in some of those early photos. I think they did a lot better job with him, as far as making him a modern update of the G1 version, where the G1 version was clearly just sort of a big brick, with a jet with a robot hanging on the underside of it. This guy here is a little more posable. Actually, he's a lot more posable. And he's a little more detailed and probably looks a little more accurate relative to some of the comic book versions of him. So I'd say if you're a Thunderwing fan or you want to get a Thunderwing toy, I'd say this is the one to get. I wouldn't really try to go out and get the G1 version. I would stick with this one. It's a lot cheaper, and I think it looks a lot cooler too. So yeah, I think that'll do it here for my look at Transformers Generations Thunderwing.